Welcome back to USA Historical Coins PK. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of rare US coins, especially the Legendacno Wheat Penny series, and a few surprise treasures that collectors dream about. From the iconic designs and mint marks like D, S, and P, to coins that look ordinary but can be worth thousands or even millions. This is where history meets hidden wealth. So before you spend that old coin, you might want to check twice. It could be a fortune in your hands. Let's jump into the top 4 most valuable wheat penny and rare US coins you should know about. Top 1. The 1942 United States wheat penny, also called the Lincoln wheat cent, is one of the most collected American coins in history. This coin was produced during the time of World War II, just before the United States changed the composition of pennies in 1943 to steel because copper was needed for the war effort. The 1942 wheat penny, without a mint mark, was struck at the United States Mint Facility in Philadelphia. Coins minted in Philadelphia during that period normally carried no mint mark, which is why collectors identify these coins simply as 1942 no mint mark cents. The coin features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front side, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The word Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, and collectors often pay close attention to whether the word Liberty is full and clearly visible. A full Liberty with strong detail usually indicates less wear and a higher grade coin. On the front of the coin, the date 1942 appears on the right side, while the phrase "In God We Trust" is displayed across the top edge. The reverse side shows 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, giving the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny or wheat cent. The 1942 no mint mark wheat penny was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing approximately 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters. Because these pennies circulated heavily during the 1940s and 1950s, finding one with sharp details, original color, and full lettering can be desirable among collectors. Coins are graded on condition, ranging from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. If the word Liberty is complete and strong, Lincoln's cheek and jawline remain sharp, and the wheat lines on the reverse are visible, the coin may grade very fine, extremely fine, or even about uncirculated depending on overall wear. Red-colored uncirculated examples are especially valuable because copper naturally darkens over time. Collectors often classify copper coins into brown BN, red-brown, RB, and red RD categories. A fully red 1942 penny, with no mint mark in mint state condition, can command significantly higher prices than an ordinary circulated example. In terms of rarity, the 1942 no mint mark wheat penny is not considered extremely rare because hundreds of millions were produced in Philadelphia. However, the historical importance of the wartime era and the popularity of Lincoln cents make it an important collectible. Most circulated examples are worth only a small premium over face value, but coins with exceptional preservation, strong strike quality, and original luster can be worth much more. Typical circulated pieces may sell for a few cents to a few dollars, while uncirculated red examples, certified by grading companies such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company, may sell for much higher amounts depending on grade. Rare error versions also exist, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint errors. Although the Philadelphia coin has no mint mark, collectors still carefully inspect the coin for unusual varieties that could increase its value substantially. The design of the wheat penny itself has deep historical meaning in American coinage. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical person instead of symbolic imagery. The wheat ears on the reverse represent prosperity and national agricultural strength. By 1942, America was fully involved in World War II, and everyday coins from that year became silent witnesses to one of the most important periods in modern history. Many collectors enjoy owning a 1942 wheat penny because it connects directly to the wartime generation. Some coins from 1942 may show weak strikes or fading around the word Liberty, but a piece with Liberty full generally indicates a cleaner strike or less circulation wear, making it more appealing visually and numismatically. When examining a 1942 wheat penny, collectors usually look at several important features. First is the condition of Lincoln's hair and cheekbone. Strong hair detail often means less wear. Second is the visibility of the wheat stalk lines on the reverse. Third is the top two. The 1944 United States wheat penny, without a mint mark, is one of the most famous and widely collected American coins from the World War II era. This coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln wheat cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 by the United States Mint to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. The 1944 no-mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and because Philadelphia cents during that period usually carried no mint mark, collectors identify these coins simply as 1944 no-mint mark wheat pennies. The obverse, or front side, displays Abraham Lincoln facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty is placed on the left side. The date, 1944, appears on the right side. Collectors often focus closely on the clarity of the word liberty, because a full and sharp liberty usually suggests the coin experienced less wear and may have a stronger strike. On the reverse side are two wheat stalks surrounding the inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America, with the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, at the top. These wheat ears gave the coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny or wheat cent. The 1944 wheat penny is historically important because it followed the unusual 1943 steel cent experiment. During 1943, copper was needed for wartime military production, so pennies were temporarily made from zinc-coated steel. However, the steel cents caused problems because they rusted easily and were often confused with dimes. In response, the United States Mint returned to copper-based pennies in 1944. Many 1944 pennies were struck using recycled shell casings from military ammunition, giving these coins a direct connection to World War II history. This historical background makes the 1944 wheat penny especially meaningful to collectors. The coin was composed mainly of 95% copper, with small amounts of zinc and tin, weighed approximately 3.11 grams, and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Because of its copper composition, many surviving examples display beautiful shades of red, brown, or red-brown toning, depending on age and storage conditions. The 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny had an extremely high mintage, with more than 1 billion examples produced in Philadelphia alone. Although this means the coin is common in circulated grades, collectors still value high-quality pieces with strong detail and original surfaces. A coin with full liberty, visible hair details above Lincoln's ear, strong cheek lines, and clear wheat lines on the reverse is generally considered more attractive and desirable. Coins are graded using the standard numismatic grading scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. In lower circulated grades, Lincoln's portrait may appear flat, and the wheat stalk details may be worn smooth. In extremely fine, or about uncirculated condition, much more detail remains visible. Uncirculated specimens with original mint luster are especially desirable. Copper coins are also categorized by color designation: brown BN, red brown RB, and red RD. Fully red mint state 1944 pennies are often worth significantly more because original bright copper color rarely survives over many decades. One reason collectors pay close attention to the 1944 wheat penny is the existence of rare and valuable era coins. Among the most famous is the rare 1944 steel penny. A few leftover steel planchets from 1943 accidentally entered the minting presses in 1944, creating extremely rare 1944 steel cents. These coins are considered major rarities in American numismatics and can sell for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on condition and authentication. Most normal 1944 pennies are copper, so collectors often test suspicious steel-colored examples using a magnet because genuine copper cents are not magnetic. Other collectible varieties include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination errors, and die cracks. Even small minting errors can increase collector interest and value. The artistry and symbolism of the 1944 wheat penny continue to attract collectors around the world. Abraham Lincoln's portrait represents leadership, unity, and American history, while the wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and agricultural strength. During the 1940s, pennies circulated heavily throughout daily American life, passing through the hands of factory workers, soldiers' families, shopkeepers, and schoolchildren during wartime. Every surviving 1944 wheat penny carries a small piece of that historical journey. Coins with strong details and full Liberty lettering are especially admired because they preserve more of the original design created at the mint over 80 years ago. When examining a 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny, experienced collectors study several features carefully. Surface preservation is extremely important. Coins with scratches, cleaning marks top 3. The 1946 wheat penny, with no mint mark, is one of the most famous coins in American coin collecting. This coin is officially called the Lincoln Wheat Cent, and it was produced in 1946 by the Philadelphia Mint in the United States. Because it has no mint mark under the date, collectors know it was made in Philadelphia. Many people believe no mint mark means the coin is rare or an error, but for pennies made in Philadelphia during that time, having no mint mark was completely normal. The coin features President Abraham Lincoln on the front side with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, and the word Liberty on the left side. On the back are 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat design was used from 1909 to 1958, which is why these coins are often called wheat pennies or wheaties. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VB appear very small near Lincoln's shoulder. The 1946 issue is especially interesting because it came right after World War II ended. During the war, the United States changed penny materials to help save copper for military supplies, including the famous 1943 steel penny. By 1946, the country returned to the traditional bronze alloy, made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Many collectors consider the 1946 wheat penny a symbol of America's recovery after the war because it represented a return to normal coin production. World War. LincolnWheatPenny.com. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny was produced in extremely large numbers. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 991,655,000 of these pennies, which means nearly 1 billion were made. Because of this huge mintage, the coin is generally considered common today. However, its value depends greatly on condition, color, and whether it has any mint errors. Most circulated examples that show wear from years of use are usually worth only a few cents to a few dollars. Coins in excellent uncirculated condition, with bright original red color, can be worth much more. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC sometimes certify high-grade examples that can sell for significant amounts among collectors. A common brown circulated coin might sell for 5 cents to $1, while a red mint state example could sell for $10, $20, or more depending on grade. Rare error versions can be worth hundreds of dollars. Collectors especially look for doubled die errors where letters appear doubled, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks on Denver and San Francisco versions. Some people online incorrectly advertise normal no-mint mark pennies as rare errors worth thousands, but experts in coin collecting communities regularly explain that the absence of a mint mark on Philadelphia pennies is standard and not an error. 1946-penny.com. When examining a 1946 wheat penny, collectors usually check several important details. First is the coin's color. Copper coins are categorized as brown BN, red-brown RB, or red RD. Red coins retain most of their original mint shine and are usually the most valuable. Another important feature is the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, cheek, jawline, and the wheat stalk details on the reverse. If these details are crisp and unworn, the coin may grade very highly. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. It should not stick to a magnet because it is made mostly of copper. Unlike the 1943 steel cent collectors, also look closely at the word Liberty and the date for doubling or unusual markings. Some 1946 pennies show interesting toning caused by leftover wartime recycled metals, giving them unique colors. The initials VB, from the designer Victor David Brenner, are another detail collectors enjoy locating. Although the 1946 no-mint mark penny is not one of the rarest wheat cents, it remains very popular because it is affordable, historic, and easy for beginners to collect. Millions of Americans have discovered one in old jars, pocket change, or family collections and started learning about coin collecting from this simple copper coin. 1946-wheat-penny.com. Many collectors also enjoy the historical story connected to the 1946 wheat penny. After the hardships of the Second World War, the United States entered a period of rebuilding and economic growth. Everyday coins like the wheat penny became symbols of stability and daily life in America. Children often collected wheat pennies in albums, and older generations saved them because they liked the classic wheat reverse design. In 1959, the wheat design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial Reverse to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 150th birthday, making all earlier wheat pennies more nostalgic and collectible. Today, the 1946 wheat penny remains one of the easiest vintage American coins to obtain, which makes it an excellent starting point for new collectors. Even though most examples are not extremely valuable, they carry strong historical importance. Top 4. The 1951 D wheat penny is a United States Lincoln cent that was minted at the Denver Mint and carries the small D mint mark below the date on the front of the coin. This coin is part of the long-running Lincoln wheat cent series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958, and is one of the most widely collected coin series in American numismatics. The 1951 D penny features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God We Trust," with liberty on the left side and the date, 1951, on the right, followed by the small d indicating Denver production. On the reverse side, the coin displays the classic wheat ears design, with 2 stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent, in the center and United States of America along the top. This wheat reverse design gives the coin its popular name, wheat penny, and symbolizes agricultural strength and national unity during the early and mid-20th century United States. The designer's initials VB are not prominently visible on this year's reverse, but are historically associated with the Lincoln cent series. The 1951 D wheat penny was struck during a period of post-World War II economic expansion in the United States. By the early 1950s, America was experiencing industrial growth, rising consumerism, and a strong demand for coinage in everyday commerce. The Denver Mint produced a large quantity of pennies in 1951 to support this demand. The mintage of the 1951 D Lincoln cent is approximately 625 million coins, making it a relatively high production issue, and therefore quite common in circulated condition today. Because so many were minted and circulated, most surviving examples are not rare, but they remain historically important as everyday currency from the early Cold War era. These coins were struck in a bronze composition consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters. Unlike the rare 1943 steel cent, the 1951 D penny is copper-based and will not stick to a magnet. In terms of value, the 1951 D wheat penny is generally considered a common date coin, especially in worn, circulated condition. Most circulated examples are worth only a few cents to around $1, depending on condition. However, uncirculated specimens, especially those with strong original red color, referred to as red or RD coins in grading, can be significantly more valuable. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC may sell for higher prices in collector markets, sometimes ranging from $10 to $50 or more depending on eye appeal and strike quality. The value increases significantly if the coin has exceptional luster, sharp details, and minimal marks. The D mint mark does not make the coin rare by itself, as Denver produced millions of these pennies, but it is still an important identifier for collectors who build complete sets by mint location. Collectors also pay close attention to errors and varieties found in the 1951 D wheat penny. While not as famous for major errors as some other Lincoln cents, certain examples can show doubled dies, repunched mint marks, RPM, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These minting errors occur during the striking process at the mint and can make individual coins more valuable depending on the severity and visibility of the error. A strong doubled die on lettering or date can sometimes increase a coin's value significantly compared to a normal example. Coin collectors often search through rolls of wheat pennies looking for these small but valuable variations. The condition of the coin is extremely important, and grading standards focus on details such as the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, jawline, wheat stalks on the reverse, and the presence of original mint luster. Coins that retain full original red color are especially desirable because copper naturally tones to brown over time when exposed to air and handling. The historical importance of the 1951 D wheat penny also adds to its appeal. This coin circulated during a significant period in American history, including the Korean War era and the early years of the Cold War. It was commonly used in everyday transactions such as purchasing groceries, newspapers, bus fares, and small household goods. For many Americans who lived through the 1950s, these pennies were part of daily life, making them nostalgic collectibles today. The Wheat Penny series itself ended in 1958, when the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959, marking the end of an era in U.S. coinage. Because of this, all wheat pennies, including the 1951D, are now considered collectible vintage coins, even though they are not rare in circulation terms. From a numismatic perspective, the 1951 D wheat penny is often recommended for beginner collectors because it is easy to find, affordable, and historically interesting.